Concussions are very commonly sustained in car accidents. A concussion is a traumatic brain injury caused by sudden trauma that causes damage to the brain. This type of injury can pay big in an injury claim. In this video, I will tell you what you need to know if you have sustained a concussion in a car accident in order for your injury case to not only possibly get you 6 or 7 figures or beyond, but also to make sure you get the proper medical treatment to treat your brain injury. To illustrate my point, I want to tell you the story of my past client, Ben. Ben had been involved in a motor vehicle accident where both he and the other driver claimed to have had the green light in the right of way. Ben went to the hospital after the accident and was diagnosed with a concussion, among other less serious injuries. Unfortunately, no independent witnesses were discovered that had witnessed Ben's wreck who could definitely say whether or not Ben or the other driver had the green light. The other driver's insurance company backed their insured's version of the accident and denied Ben's injury claim, claiming Ben was liable for the accident. This is when I got involved with Ben's case. You see, Ben's case had been referred to me by another lawyer to specifically file a lawsuit and litigate the case. In fact, I was the third attorney that had represented Ben for this case, as the previous lawyers didn't think the case was worth their time. So I filed a lawsuit. Despite the only evidence that existed that my client in fact had the green light being my client's word that he in fact had the green light, I eventually was able to get the other driver's insurance company to pay out their insured's policy limits after months of litigation. This was good news for Ben. However, my client would have potentially received even more money. You see, he had what is called underinsured motorist insurance coverage on his automobile insurance policy. Since he received the policy limits from the other driver, he could have chosen to then pursue a claim against his own insurance company under the underinsured motorist coverage. Ben chose not to do this, however, and I understood why he chose not to. But I certainly think he could have recovered more money if we pursued his claim further. First of all, Ben was happy with his settlement with the other driver's insurance carrier for the policy limits. Ben also did not want to litigate his case much further in court. But also, the value of Ben's case likely was not worth much, if any, more than the amount he had received with the policy limits settlement. You see, if Ben wanted to have a bigger settlement, he needed more medical evidence indicating what the extent of his injuries were. Ben unfortunately sought very little medical treatment after his trip to the hospital. All injury cases are dependent upon the amount of medical treatment you ultimately receive or are to receive in the future due to your accident. Despite my suggestion, Ben unfortunately never was seen by a neurologist or neurosurgeon. However, to determine the extent of his head injury, even though his symptoms following the accident included head pain, headaches, nausea, and vomiting. In order to find out the extent of a traumatic brain injury due to a concussion in a car accident, it's crucial to get the right medical care and to treat with a neurologist or neurosurgeon familiar with treating and diagnosing traumatic brain injuries. The diagnostic procedures a neurologist or neurosurgeon can perform on you can significantly impact the value of your case if they find you have sustained even a mild traumatic brain injury. But even more importantly, once you're properly diagnosed, you can then get the proper and effective treatment you need to properly treat your brain injury. The thing is, just because you sustain a brain injury in a car accident doesn't mean the insurance company will make you a fair and reasonable offer in your case initially. So, what do you do when the insurance company makes you a lowball offer? In order to possibly get a fair and reasonable settlement offer in your brain injury case, you have to know how to respond to a lowball settlement offer. And in this video about to pop up here, I'll tell you 4 tips as to what to do when you get a lowball settlement offer in your brain injury case. Lastly, if you've been injured in a car accident in Kentucky, remember to don't wait, call Tate.